fall, it was like the first fall, because it was actually really nice. Because he was outside doing yard work. You know, they weren't real sick
But he
either.
lost his
But,
sense of
yeah,
smell.
for
Or
quite a
taste,
while.
I mean,
Yeah,
quite
for
a
a
while.
while.
And the only reason I knew that is we had those, you know, meals that, you know, and there was a lemon, and I was cutting the lemon, and I was like,
I can't smell this.
and I picked up the peanut butter and said, no, lost my sense of smell.
And I think there's a lot of stories. I gotta believe there's a lot of stories.
Yeah.
We had a guy at church who got COVID and was in the hospital, but got out and recovered, supposedly recovered. But he was a electronic specialist with the phone companies, and so they would fly him to all these places to work on certain things. So he flew to Texas, to Dallas, I think, and it was lunchtime, and he was walking to get lunch, and a car came up behind him and up onto the sidewalk and hit him. And he didn't hear it coming or anything like that. So his brother, he's not married or anything like that, so his brother had to drive from like Oklahoma or something down, or no, Colorado. Drove from Colorado down to Texas to pick him up and bring him to North Carolina. And it seemed like he was recovering, but then he died. So, but they didn't declare that one COVID. That was one of the only ones they did declare as COVID. But to us, it was somehow related. He did have COVID, but he had supposedly recovered. So.
Yeah, there were a lot of deaths reported with COVID that weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were like telling me, you were like letting me tell you something about a laugh and a talk is a good responsibility.
That's right.
And
Yeah,
we had to delay his funeral.
yeah. Yeah, I
We
think
like
that was
working.
one of the saddest, or the weddings.
Yeah. Yeah.
The big family events that,
Yeah.
Our daughter, younger daughter, had been going to school at 9, working full time.
the graduation.
I'm hungry, yeah.
And that's never gonna happen to her.
Are you getting hungry?
Well, no.
They let the
We had a
undergraduates
barbecue,
walk.
so whatever.
We thought
She
we already
finished
did
up.
the barbecue, that's a good lunch.
I guess it was in
Barbecue
But we
for
didn't
them.
really,
the middle of 2021 when they were tapering off.
People eat what I mean.
That
Didn't eat
next year,
a meal.
that next spring, they got to walk.
So you go with your regular schedule.
Anyway,
Oh, no.
undergraduates got
We had, second
We
meal.
had lunch right after church.
Oh, yeah, so you did say one, okay.
Well, my uncle's funeral, there was only, they could only do 7 of us
10?
there.
Oh, yeah.
Cause-
10 total, right?
Well, yeah, but it was the priest.
Yeah, counting the
Could
priests
have
and
him
the,
there, and then we had a gallant
And the-
parade. Couldn't have a singer, really.
and the funeral guy.
Okay. 2 funeral people,
Yeah.
so that's 4 right there.
Mhm.
So it was he and I, my brother, and his wife. And my uncle had 2 nephews and a niece. And we were spread across the front pews. And then when we came out, my kids were there. And they followed us to the
Mine too.
cemetery. Yeah, and they followed us to the cemetery, and he was put in a mausoleum. So we had them do I asked them if they'd do the service outside, and this was in September, no, not September, yeah, September. No, April, he died in April 2nd, 2020. And so they did the service outside, and then went in and put him in the, and then one of his nephews brought a case of beer.
There you go.
My uncle's favorite beer. So we stood on the parking lot, spread around.
And toasted.
Toasted.
Well, so
That's called a Catholic wake, right?
That's all you can do. That's
so
all you can do.
our our senior pastor's
We're going.
wife's brother is also a pastor and has 3 kids, and the youngest girl started dating the grandson of, he had been the bishop in the Philippines and now is a pastor. Well, actually now he's retired, but he was a pastor in Charlotte. So, and we knew them through Vita Cristo. So when I got ordained, the grandson comes and the grandfather comes and I said, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" But anyway, so these two met at this teen retreat that we do, and met when they were like 14 and dated the whole time, went off to college, and then decided to get married. And they come to me and they said, "Would you do the wedding?" And I said, "Well, I'm honored, but why aren't you asking your father?" And she said, "Well, I want my dad to be a dad for a day."
Yeah, walking down the aisle.
And I said, "Well, why aren't you asking your uncle or your grandfather?" They said, "You're neutral." And I said, "Okay." So,
But unfortunately, the limited number you can have,
yeah,
um,
the senior pastor,
the uncle didn't
Couldn't
want to
go.
go.
right?
But we did.
But we did. I'm upset about that, but
Did you zoom it?
we did, yeah, we did. And by then, you know, things had opened up, but they had decided, they had made up their mind it was going to be intimate, and so that's what we did.
One of the families at church, the son was getting married, and they have, I think there's 3 boys, I think it's 3 boys and a girl. And so, you know, you gotta have the priest, right? You gotta have the bride and groom, and then you kinda want an attendant, and then you kinda want the parents. And so, it's kind of humorous, because the daughter, actually went to school with Reed.
I'm doing the last
And I knew him from St. Glasgow. So, I happened to run into her and she was telling me, and her mom used to be in choir, so I know the family quite well. And she was telling me that, she said, "Yeah, the wedding was really nice." I said, "No, wait, you weren't supposed to be there. Weren't you number 11 or 12 or, you know, whatever?" She said, "Yeah," she said, "I had to be at my brother's wedding, so I snuck into the balcony." She said, you know, and our church is relatively large, so it was, I mean, it didn't really make sense because you could be, I mean, you could have had one person in each pew, and you could have had probably, you know, 50 people in that church. But yeah, she said, "I had to be at my brother's wedding." Well, really? I mean, it just seemed like it was a little strange.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't know.
We
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
I don't know.
We didn't know what to do.
I'm glad that's all behind us.
Yeah, but now it's coming again.
Well, now we're getting leprosy.
Okay.
Yes.
Leprosy is
And we were
back.
talking
Oh,
about
is
that,
that right?
yeah,
Yeah.
leprosy in Florida.
And
Yeah, we know how to deal with this stuff now. We've been through it.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, until the next time,
Yeah,
which is
Okay.
gonna be different.
Because it's a
Yeah,
different-
it's
all
all
different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and I think
Okay.
and it won't be.
the epidemiologist from
Whatever it'll be.
Michael Oster Home.
Osterholm, the
From Minnesota.
epidemiologist from Minnesota,
Yeah.
who is
Mhm.
the superstar medical guy. And in fact, he worked.
Where you going?
What's his name?
I'm going outside.
Since COVID, he got.
I could
and
wait
he-
for them.
He just got COVID here not too long ago, and now he's got long COVID. So
Yeah.
he's in bed. Yeah.
He's getting better though.
Yeah.
He's getting better. But he was on like one of the Sunday morning programs a couple weeks ago, and they said, you know, they were asking him all these questions. Do you think it'll be, you know, you think it's over and do you think it's done? And he's like, "Oh no, it's gonna be a return, it's gonna be a different thing, and blah, blah, blah. And he said, "No, I'm gonna keep my eyes on it because I have kids and I have grandkids. And I wanna,
It's been a long time.
keep track of it and make sure we
Yeah, 'cause
still do
he's
the right thing."
probably close to 70 years old.
Yeah.
or something
Yeah,
like
he's
that.
not a young dude.
Okay, guys. You know what? In fact, about a laugh, just give me one. Give me one like us. You know that. Maybe you know some kind of laughing will make everyone funny for that.
Yes. And put us in a good mood.
Okay, now, this episode is the last episode. The last episode is. Wait. The last episode, and the last episode is Polaris Impulse Resource.
Polaris Impulse Resource.
What does that mean?
Don't know.
Polaris is the.
You don't know?
Yeah.
Don't know about anything.
Well, that was the. Jim said it. What was the impulse? The
Yeah,
impulse
Jim's.
was it part of the sub or the?
I don't know.
He left.
He's over there.
He's missing. Okay, so the episode, keep going.
What's Polaris?
Impulse
Impulse.
Resort.
Okay, ready? What's Polaris?
Jim?
He probably can't
Oh,
hear
there's a,
Yeah,
There's
this
a
is-
door.
Yeah,
what's Polaris?
impulse
Impulse.
resort.
No, it's not a station.
No, episode.
No, it's not an episode.
What was
Polaris
Impulse?
is a side by side,
What was Impulse?
and impulse is quick reaction without thinking.
I guess we knew that.
Resource.
And resource.
Resource is something that you can use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something school.
Okay, well,
Some-
that did not help us at all. I knew that part.
And you walk next to the door.
Lock the door.
Walk down.
Okay, give me a soft laugh one more time.
Is that soft?
Soft laugh again. Loud. Long time is figuring it out.
Now.
You don't have much to work with here.
Yeah, now what are you gonna do?
Side by side.
Yeah, my doctor lost a young woman to COVID early on, and so he was
Devastated.
he was really, extra cautious. But then, like 2 years later, after they had all the medications and everything, he was like, "Don't worry about it. If you get any symptoms, just call me." And we did this every day.
I bet this is gonna be the last episode just to have no more on it.
Yeah.
Well, part of, an after effect of this is that where I live, we were quarantined in our rooms.
Yeah.
So, now, you can come and go as you please, but so many of the older people just decided they would just stay in their room. They don't come out for activities.
To this day.
Yeah.
To this day, yes, yes. And they just lean right down.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's the,
Yeah.
that's the worst part for some.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't live alone.
Now, there were a group of us that you would,
This is
You
the rebel.
rebelled.
yeah,
The
the
speed
rebel
rebels.
we'd form a foursome, and we'd play bridge a couple of times a week. And 3 times a week, we found a hobby room that was down from the lower level. And we all gathered there for happy hour, and that was our spookies.
Needed beaded curtains.
And so we survived nicely.
But you control the people that
Yeah,
have
it was the
access to
same- it
you.
was the same people.
Yeah. Oh, okay, okay.
When you initially
But
started,
people
did you
coming
wear
into
masks?
even
When you played bridge, did you wear
That they
masks?
had contact other than
Because
that.
you would have
was
been
a
at one
control.
day.
We did one over in the hallway.
I mean.
Okay.
You could have visitors.
Just to get back and
Well,
forth.
Yeah.
You had staff.
But now when you were
was-
together,
well, we went
did you stay, did you go to the same room every time?
Did you visit?
Same people
Did you
came
go
together.
into the?
Or did you go to different rooms?
For a while, they,
Yeah, different, or
but
four
they
different
weren't
rooms.
allowing anybody, but we did go out.
And,
Eventually.
for happy hour, we
Yeah.
keep.
But probably
Because they
only-
opened up
I think
sooner
12
than
people.
some of the ones in North Carolina.
But it was probably
Kind of
only
spread out.
2 or 3 at a time.
Did you
Yeah,
bartend?
No, we all brought our
Oh,
own
you
drink.
brought your own drinks.
Yep.
I forget what rules were.
Obviously, could
Well,
wear a
yeah,
mask.
but they
No.
were, yeah.
Okay, so you've done a really good job on this conversation. What I'm going to tell you right now is, do you like episodes? So let's go right now. Conda, do you like episodes?
Sometimes.
Auntie Anne?
Same.
Anita?
Short ones.
Grandma?
I like to watch it all at one time.
Steve?
I like them.
Kathy?
Sometimes.
Great. So what did you do with the episode?
I fast forwarded.
You know that episode is what I've done for the YouTube show. That's why I've been trying to put up everything on on my YouTube channel, and I get to do everything. I always do more about my episode, and it's always a good time to do. We're putting episodes up, and I always do with episodes, and then that's going to be everything. Do you like that?
So do you have an episode from the picnic?
We'll see.
That'd be good.
Yeah,
to put
that
up.
would be good.
And what's your YouTube address?
Dunno. I think it's jakelashley@icloud.com.
Jake Lashley at what? Oh, iCloud. Okay.
So, Navy Yard Stadium is where we went to see some soccer, and we went to an Audi field, and we had a good time if my dad and I did. But I'm gonna tell you, do you like soccer stadium? Kathy, do you like soccer stadium?
The one you were at?
The one that I'm at?
I've never seen it.
You've been there.
Okay.
Or have I been there?
Steve?
That's the one we went to? Okay.
Steve, do you...
Yes, I like Soccer Stadium.
Grandma?
I've never been to one.
Dad?
It looks pretty nice from the outside.
Anita?
Yeah, I didn't really see the inside, so I don't know.
Ann?
Never been to one.
Conda?
I like the bright lights.
I bet it will be okay if you like the soccer stadium. All right, here's a good look of the picture. Here's a good look of the picture. Say Navy Yard Ballpark Stadium.
No, why don't you show some of the pictures that you took at the picnic?
Navy Yard Ballpark Stadium.
Oh, let all of us say that. Can you try that? Here, one more time. Wait.
Ballpark Stadium.
Good for you now.
So there's a pastor friend of mine who has written a book called You Can't Make This Up, and it's stories from his 38-year career. And so I was reading it this afternoon, and he talked about there was a kid. The way their sanctuary is, it has a side door, so the altar is up here, but you have to walk. So there was a kid who was squirming and wiggling and whatnot, and finally the father just picked him up and put him on the shoulder and walked out. And the kid is looking at all the people, and he said, "Pray for me."
Sounds like Gratimeyer.
That's a good one.
Well, I thought it was pretty good in church today when
Yes,
they
yeah.
gave children's sermon.
Oh.
The lady giving one of the Chris Ed people was giving the children's sermon, they had the kid sitting on the step up there as he's talking away. And it's the loaves of bread and the fish. And
Okay.
she was telling them that, just telling the story, all that stuff. And right at the end, she said, pulled out a little bag with it had
Goldfish.
in
Yeah.
it. And so I said, would this be enough to feed, 5,000 people or whatever? She said, and they, kids responded and stuff. She said, well, I have one of these for each of you. and she starts handing this out, and all of a sudden this little girl comes shooting down the aisle.
You're right where to sit.
The next in line. Bribery, that's what it takes, bribery.
Very cool. You didn't know there were gifts, so we come over.
Okay. I know you were gonna defeat us.
Right down the house, that's what.
That's right, yeah, that's for lighting the-
Okay, this is the last episode. I'm gonna stop the video and no more YouTube show anymore for Minnesota families. Please have a good time, and I'll make sure not to do that again because this is now episode 10. Thank you. Now you can get back to a conversation. Please have a great day.